Hi, welcome to PHP and MySQL videos. This is a list of suggestions how you can use for this video. The notes for this video can be found here and this URL, which is loaded here. Okay, so we created a database and it is here. Okay, and we do not need the SQL file anymore, but I'm just going to leave it here because now I don't need it anymore. So I'm just going to close it. Again, do not, in a real life situation, do not leave this on a web server because technically your CTMI PHP is part of the web server. So if you upload this onto the internet, people will know your MySQL database username and password and the structure. They can do a lot of damage. So don't ever put this SQL file onto a web server. Always keep at a secure location. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is we are going to, okay, so now you look at products, right? You can come here, browse the products. Hey, there are some products here, but you never want to give other user PHP, you don't want to give outside people PHP MyAdmin access because it's just so powerful, okay? So for a normal user to view the page, they will need to access the page, say through a PHP file. Okay. So to do that, we have already created a folder called eg008 in my PHP, and we can also go there from here. Okay, Control C, Control V, and so we are going to do select statements, insert statements, delete statements to the database. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is connect to the database. Okay, again, all the code for the examples here can be found here, but the best way to learn is actually type it in yourself so the code becomes yours and then you can use it later for your other examples. Okay, the first thing we want to do is we go to, the first thing is make sure your Apache and MySQL database, Apache and MySQL is running. And obviously it is running. That's why this thing can be shown here. The second thing you want to do is to create a file here called right-click new text document eg008 a underscore connect underscore database dot php. So eg008 a underscore connect database dot php. Okay. And open this in Notepad++. Okay. So this is a first file we are going to build. I'm going to just type in the code to connect to a database. We are only going to do it once. So to connect to the database, PHP give you a series of statements. I'm going to move this guy to the left. And we don't need HTML in this file because it's just for connection. So first we create a variable called DSN. There are a series of keywords. It's a string variable. We are going to connect to a MySQL database. Host name is equal to localhost because you're running on the same server. And database name is equal to Kung Fu Panda Shop. And then Username is equal to web user because we created it, remember? Web user. And the password is what we have created in the last video, Sifu88. And then we use a try catch statement. Okay, just in case connection fails, you don't want the program to look too bad. You want the program to look a little bit professional. So we say we try to connect this to the database by creating a new PDO data object. It has 3 arguments. First is the connection string. Second is the username. And third one is the password. So wherever value you put here will come in here, create a new one. If it's successful, if it fails, we throw the PDO statement, PDO object here will throw an exception. Okay. And then we're going to show the error message later. So let's try this. So if you come over here, obviously I know it will work. So if you come over here and click example 008, A, connect database, you should see successful in connecting to the database. Okay, so we are good. So let's say I want it to fail, all right, and then show an error message. So here, if it fails, the E, which is the PDO exception that throw object that is thrown, can use the get message method to get a message, save it here. Okay. And we want it to fail, so I'm going to change the password to a wrong password, Sifu888, Control S to save. And now when I try to connect, they will give you access denied error message, which is really scary, but it just means wrong password, right? But this error message is not very user-friendly because this is a really scary error message. Okay, I wanted to show something more professional. Okay, I don't want to see this. This is really scary. So instead of just do this, we want to show a page that is more professional looking. Okay, and to do that, we need a CSS file. And I have a CSS file here, okay, called main.css. Example 8, main.css. I'm going to save this CSS file. So right click here, save link as, save this CSS file into C10 myPHP eg008, same place, main.css. Once you save it over there, it will appear here. I'm going to right click and open in, edit with Notepad++. Let's take a quick look at what it does. It has a body. It has a background color of something yellowish. It has a body. Okay, it has some ID called content, and it has data input and all that. So basically the same thing we use for our example 3, if I'm not wrong. I hope so. Okay, so let's see what this one does. All right. So we are going to use this, and we are going to create a file here called eg008 B database error. So if this one fails, you go to AB. Okay, so eg008. So this one is going to try to get things from the database, right? The database is called localhost blah blah blah. I hope I spelled it correctly. Go Panda Shop. So you're trying to connect to the database, Kung Fu Panda Shop. If it's successful, great. If it fails, it's going to go to eg008B. Okay, and this one uses main.css. So we're going to create this file, but I don't want to type in everything from scratch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy a file that I used before. So we are going to go to my PHP. I'm just going to copy eg001 basic and do a paste here and rename eg001 basic to eg008B database underscore error. Okay, and open this in Notepad++. So now I have main.css here, I have 8a here, I have 8b here, so I'm going to switch things, okay? So in AB, I'm going to change the title first. eg008B database error. I'm going to get rid of everything here in the head. And I'm going to get rid of everything here in the body. So now I have an empty file. And I'm going to link this to, yeah, I probably shouldn't delete. Did I delete? I probably deleted too many things. Then we're going to link it to the main.css, which is in the same folder. Okay. All right. And then if something happens here, instead of show the error message, we are going to send it to eg00. Okay, and we don't want to show the error message here. I want to show the error message in this file. Again, this is the wrong way of actually sending control. This is actually include all the code from that file below here. Okay, let's see what it looks like. So now the password is still wrong. when you reload, they will send it to, they will just paste everything here, and obviously there's nothing here, but just main.css, a green background, okay? But I want to show something so the user know what the error message is. So I'm going to say, so now you can see the URL here. And then because you use the include statement, the variable error message would also appear here because this is technically part of this file now. So I can just echo the error message here. So when you reload, you actually show a pretty decent database error. Was the error message. Okay, so the user won't be so scared. All right, so you created a very simple file with error message and all that. And the video is getting too long, so let me go and close this and change it back to C88. So you don't get an error message, you have success. So this connection is going to be used by all the other files in this example. Okay, I think now is a very good place to stop, and I will start the next example soon, which is how to do a select statement. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.